welcome to this edition of Transformation Thursday. We are so delighted and grateful that you have joined us for this exciting word. Today we want to talk about unbreakable. My former pastor would say life is filled with swift transitions. His words reign true as almost daily we see things that were now cease to be in the blink of an eye. Life be lifing as relationships that were so strong are now over. Lives that were in their prime have now ended tragically. And what should have been and what many had hoped for changed almost instantly. The joys of celebration are interrupted by the heartache of suffering. But suffering is as much a part of life as celebration. In fact, Jesus himself would give warning when he said, "In this world you shall have tribulation." So we cannot escape it. Life is hard. We live in a fallen world. Nothing works the way it's supposed to. Sin has stained every part of the physical universe, and it has deeply infected the human experience. Things break, our bodies wear out, people hurt and hate on each other, relationships end, children are abandoned, babies are born with defects, friends turn on you, family disappoint you, and you disappoint them. And to each life, some rain must fall. Troubles will come, suffering will come, challenges will come, and they often attack us at our weakest point. It seeks out our limitation and assaults our unflattering shortcomings. They're often relentless, coming in droves. An invisible enemy appears, your security is lost, the job is lost, a loved one is lost, food pantries are empty, and chaos is all around. In a matter of minutes, life changed for Job. He was wealthy, his family was full, he was healthy, he was strong, he was loved and well respected, but in the blink of an eye, it all changed. He lost all of his material possessions, all of his children, and his health. His wife offered no support, and his friends condemned him. Distraught and unresponsive for days, it's suffering that often brings us to this point where we question our very existence, wondering, why me? It's often hard to fully understand, and it's further compounded by the fact that it seems like we're being ignored, especially when it seems like your pain goes unnoticed and your prayers go unanswered, your tears go unwiped. But we can take some cues from Job, because in the midst of all of his challenges, in the midst of his struggles and pain, he refused to break. He refused to be broken. He refused to give up. He refused to lay down. He refused to die on the vine. But how do you not break when you are faced with suffering and challenges and heartache and pain and loss and discomfort? Job again gives us some suggestions as to how you remain unbreakable when challenges come your way. First of all, you need to maintain the right attitude. In the midst of suffering and challenges, examine your attitude and examine how you respond. After being dealt such a heavy blow, Job, the Bible says Job arose when all hell broke loose in his life, when trouble came, when the enemy came in like a flood, when folks turned their back on him, when the relationship ended, when uncertainty filled his experience, when he couldn't see his way through. The text says he arose because he could not stay down. He had an attitude that would not allow him to stay down. But not only did he not stay down, he was resilient. Resilience is a character trait. It's the ability to rebound and recoil, to rebound from pain and misfortune, illness and depression, heartache and disappointment, to rebound when things don't work, when people disappoint. But it's also the ability to recoil. When you are stretched and pulled out of position because of the pain, You have to spring back. You have to recoil. Resilient people know how to adapt. They know how to bounce back. They may bend or suffer setbacks, but they don't break. Then you also have to learn how to maintain your commitment. Maintain your commitment. Job said in the 13th chapter, verse number 15, he said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. It's this affirmation that pushes you through. It's this type of affirmation that says, despite what comes my way, despite what I have to endure, despite who stays or who goes, I am going to stay committed to my assignment. I am going to stay committed to my dreams and to my purpose. You have to maintain your commitment. But also you have to learn how to persevere. James said it like this, that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. Some things we learn from books and other things we learn from the school of hard knocks. It comes from daily life. It's God allowing you to be put to the test, to go through the fiery trials, to be purified like the finest of gold, separating out those impurities, producing a Christ-like character. It's him sending you through the furnace of affliction. Job declared the Lord, he knows the way that I take, and when he has tested me, I will come forth as pure gold. In the furnace, we discover God's goodness. You will never know what you truly believe until hard times come. When the phone rings with the bad news, when you are heartbroken, when your best friend betrays you, when you lose your job, when a loved one suddenly dies, when your life comes apart at the seams, then you discover what you truly believe. God works to produce in us perseverance. Perseverance simply is endurance, it's steadfastness, it's patience, it's having a battle-tested faith. It's standing up under the withering fire. It's bending but not being broken. It's singing when you ought to be crying. It's dancing when you should be grieving. You have to learn how to persevere in the midst of the storm. Hey, you also got to learn how to maintain your vision. The difference between those that break under pressure and those that are unbreakable is often vision. Vision sets you apart. Being able to see beyond the right now. Seeing things for what they can be. Job's wife couldn't see it, for she will ultimately say, won't you curse God and die? His friends couldn't see it, for they told him, if you had just lived right, then this wouldn't have happened. But Job saw beyond the situation. Your vision has to be greater than what you see. Sometimes life is about risking everything for something only you can see. What do you see? Your destiny is only in your view. You control it. You manage it. Your vision creates the mindset that makes your dreams possible. It's your vision that allows you to take the next step, to keep going, to execute every day, no matter how hard it may be. Your vision allows you to let the tears flow through the grate, to keep looking for the answer through the darkness of the despair, to use each step to take you closer to the top of the mountain, closer to the light of the next sunrise and the promise of a new day. It's your vision, and you got to hold on to it. Then finally, you got to learn how to listen. In Job 38, the Bible says that God spoke to Job in the whirlwind. In the midst of a storm, he spoke. When things seemed out of control, he spoke. When the trials of life seemed to weigh him down, when he was bending beneath the weight of the world, when the noise of this life seemed to get louder, when troubles are overwhelming, sometimes you just need to listen. Listen to the still voice in the midst of your storm. Learn how to be still and listen. Listen for him. A few years ago, I recall being on the campus of Southern University on the 4th floor of the administration building. And I happened to look out the window, and I could see the mighty Mississippi. The river was swelling. The strength of the water was literally eroding the banks on which the campus sits. Caution tape had been placed out to keep people to keep people from getting too close to the bank. The waters looked extremely high. The winds were blowing as a thunderstorm was on the horizon. And as I continued to look, I noticed a group of willow trees on the riverbank. Water had completely covered the base of the trees up to their lower crowns. The power of the wind and the water had caused the trees to bend under the power. They swayed back and forth, almost laying down in the river. I watched, expecting the trees to break, but to my surprise, they didn't break. Despite being under pressure, they didn't break. But I watched other trees nearby that began to snap. But these didn't break because they are specially designed to handle the pressure. They are specially designed to handle the challenges, the trials, the weights, the pains, the heartache, the disappointment. But not only did they not break, but when the storm passed, when the waters receded, when the wind stopped blowing, they stood straight again. They were restored to their original position. Because through experiences, they learned how to not break when the storms of life are raging. On this Transformation Thursday, I want you to affirm with me that I will maintain the right attitude. I will maintain my commitment to my dreams and my purpose. I will persevere. I will maintain my vision. And I will be still and listen for his voice. I am more than a conqueror. I am unbreakable. On this Transformation Thursday, remember, you are unbreakable. See you next week.